Okay, everybody. We're looking to get this game between UL Wolves and the UCD A team started. So, my name is Jack Ferrex Price, and I'm joined here today by Cardinal. We're going to be casting this game for you, Cardinal. Give us all a welcome there.
Yeah, it's good to have another game this week. Starting off the week strong now. Monday night, UCD versus UL. So, going to be looking forward to some good games now. Both of these teams have been playing quite well recently, so we should have a pretty decent matchup today. Now, some of our games have been a little bit one-sided, but I feel like this one now be an interesting one to watch. How do you feel yourself about it, Ferrex?
Definitely. I mean, we've seen an awful lot of pretty one-sided games so far. I mean, just looking at the previous games, you know, UCD beat Maynooth 16-2, UL Wolves took down Maynooth Crusaders 16-7. So hopefully we'll get a little bit more of a close game coming into this one. Certainly, both teams have been looking very strong in their previous games, so hoping to see, you know, look at maybe 16-10, 16-12, that sort of thing. Similar to what we saw between UL and Trinity. If you want to think back to that game, you know, UL had 14 rounds to 9, I think it was, but Trinity managed to bring it back to win 16-14. So definitely hoping to see more of a game coming out of this one.
Yeah, that's just it really, and I suppose it's got to be said that on paper, if we're being frank, you know, UCD are probably the favourites coming into this one, so you know all the eyes are going to be on them as the favourites. But I would be interested now to see how UL can perform against them, because there was a bit of a. So if we look at the previous results, right? So UL have lost to NCI and UCD have beaten NCI quite handily. So just on paper, UCD are definitely the favourites, but UL have been playing quite well recently as well. So I feel like it's going to be a close one now. I can't really say which way it's going to go. Probably going to go the way of UCD, but we won't know until everyone gets in the server and finds out, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And the map videos just come through there. It looks like we are going to be playing this one out of Mirage. Yet another Mirage game coming out. We've seen UL actually play this map 3 times. So all their games that they've played so far have been played on Mirage. So it looks like they seem to be pretty confident in this map, and certainly playing against Trinity, it served them pretty well. So maybe they think that they can beat UCD out on this one, but UCD themselves are no strangers to Mirage either. They played Maynooth Crusaders on this, and they actually won 16-2 in a very, very convincing game. So both teams seem to feel pretty confident. I was speaking to the UCD guys beforehand, and they said that they were going to be trying to aim for Mirage as the map to play on, so they'll be pretty happy with this map pick, I think.
So am I right in saying I think it's fair to say that Mirage is kind of this comfort pick for most teams? No one really minds playing on it, but at the same time, I don't feel like it's anyone's one strongest map, maybe.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right in that case. I mean, if you look at Mirage, like even looking at like, you know, Faces, that sort of thing, you see an awful lot of games of Mirage being played, an awful lot of games of Cash being played, because it is one of those maps that you can be really strat heavy on it. You know, you have all that especially that open skybox now. You can afford to, you know, you can throw all those smokes and do those complicated executes, but it's also something that you can sort of pug it out on. You know, you can take those aim duels, you can take those fights, and they can still win either round. So I think that's part of the reason why teams tend to go for a map like Mirage, is because, you know, they don't have the coordination of a professional level team. You know, we said previously, you know, these teams are, most of them are pretty recently formed, so they might feel more comfortable playing on maps such as Mirage because they can afford to rely on aim in a sense.
Yeah, it's an interesting point, and like you said, a lot of these players haven't spent a huge amount of time playing with each other beforehand, or if they had, it was in a much more casual environment, so they wouldn't necessarily be thinking about, you know, strats and flashes and utility usage, etc. So Mirage is definitely kind of an easier map to get yourself into, like you said, with just taking these aim duels, taking these straight up 1v1s whenever they can, rather than playing a map like Overpass or Nuke, where, you know, your utility usage and your team play is going to be much more crucial to win. But
Exactly, and
still hoping for a good game.
Yeah, but like as a counterpoint as well, you know, if you can use that utility effectively on Mirage, you can really lock the other team out. Now you have that wall of smokes in A, that, you know, that famous execute. You know, you have your smoke CT, your smoke stairs, and your smoke jungle to close off the site. You know, so it is something that if you use your utility effectively, it can really benefit you. So I think in that sense, Mirage also shows, you know, who does have the better team play. And if you do have the better team play, you can really lock your opponents out of the map.
Absolutely. And I think even just going back to something you mentioned there about that wall of smokes on the A side, I think that is probably the one execute that every CS player knows to some degree. Even me sitting in MGE,
Yeah.
I know how to throw a CT smoke on T side Mirage, so
Yeah.
I think that's a very common one, all right.
Yeah, well, it looks like we're going to be getting into the pistol round here. Both teams have readied up. Let me just...
Into the knife round.
Yeah, we're into the knife round here, so let me just get this window up. There we go, and we'll get the volume up as well. Give me 1 second.
A little bit of a Mexican standoff here now. A little bit of damage going down. You are going to fall first, and Dominator's got it all to do in a 1-on-3. Can't get it done, so that is going to be the knife round going over to UCD. Be interesting to see whether they opt to stick on the T side, or it looks like actually one of them has...
Evan's joining the spectators. He's just taking a look at the CT economy, I think, trying to gather a little bit of information.
Possibly.
Looks like
decided to swap. They are going to swap.
So we're going to see UCD start on this CT side, then in UL. Going to be trying to bring their A game on this T side. It'll be interesting to see if they've done any practice since these last few games, because we saw before they kind of were just trying to pug it out. So maybe, you know, they've developed some more strategies since then. So this T side, this pistol round will kind of tell all, I think. Just saw there, looks like they were looking towards A, and indeed that's where they're going to go. 4 players and the bomb, all 5 players now moving towards A. So 2 smokes and 2 flashes, so certainly not just going to be a standard rush out. There's only 1 player there for UCD at the moment. That's Evan. He's playing, or sorry, that's not Evan, that's Drygas playing from CT, and we have seen him get a nice 4K and playing and piss around from that position before, but the smokes come out and that's going to cause a rotate, and already Rubish is pushed all the way through. But meanwhile on this A site, UCD just electing to play retake. Incipien's going to find a kill through the smoke there, and that's the first blood for UCD, and Evan tapping into the smoke, not going to be able to find anything. Could find Zombinator here if he's not careful, especially running through that smoke, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Incipiens takes him down, but in the meantime the bomb does gun drags, pushing through CT, finds the headshot onto metal, and now it's just Bardo left in a 1-on-5 in Palace, and they know exactly where he is. Defuse is going to come in, the smoke goes down, and that was just locked out. Bardo manages to find 1 kill, but in the end there, no hope from him, no hope there for him, facing off against 5 UCD players, and a very clean round there for UCD to start this game. Cardinal, very, very clean stuff there.
Yeah, and we saw actually very patient play from UCD. That was really interesting to watch from a kind of more general overview. They were perfectly fine waiting for all those smokes to fade out, and we saw Rubish made a really fast rotate. He was coming all the way through CT spawn very, very early on, or T spawn even very early on, so great coordination. They didn't rush when they saw the smokes coming in. They were calm, just waited for them to fade away, and very easy retake, very clean. Yeah,
they were more than willing to play the retake there. I think it was the right decision, I think, because I think UCD are pretty confident coming into this. They know that they can beat UL here, and they know that they can win these aim duels, provided nobody for UL goes absolutely insane. So they're happy to play that retake. A 5-on-5 situation, even with the bomb down, is still favouring the CT side a little bit, I think, especially with those USPs.
Here though in this round.
Yeah, 3 players from UL playing in that underpass position. Going to walk out to Drags. He's going to take the first kill onto Bardo. He's going to hold there, and Incipiens catches metal looking the wrong way, and we're down into a 3-on-5, and here comes this sort of underpass out, but Drags finds the first kill onto Frost and a second one onto Zombinator, and Turtle catches Mac in the back. A little bit of a rhyme there, I'm a poet. But again, very clean round there for UCD, not a single player going down. Not quite sure what UL were looking to do. 3 players in that underpass position, and 1 player just being sent forward as a sacrificial lamb almost. No trade potential whatsoever, but nonetheless a little bit of a throwaway round for them. They're going to be onto the bye now, so 5 AKs coming out. UCD still 2 SMGs, an MP7 for Turtle and UMP for Incipiens, but nothing too aggressive coming out for them just yet. 2 players,
especially in that last round. Actually, just to mention, I think they could have been waiting to see where UCD going to make a more aggressive push out mid, bringing those 3 players underground, but it didn't go their way. Now Execute's coming into the A site, so Evan's going to take the first fight and Frost, and he's going to find a second as well before he gets traded out. Max finds the kill there. Barto is going to swing out, and he needs to find that kill, and he does. Rubish is going to fall now. Incipiens has got a big job here to hold on to the A site and find the first frag, and a really long shot with the UMP to find the third as well. That was beautiful hold from Incipiens, but I think UL almost got control of the site. They needed to find that kill onto Incipiens, and it just never came. So
wonderful play there. Wonderful play there from Incipiens. He really needed to hold on to the A site there. If he wanted to keep UCD in the round, he did exactly that. A big ask, but he was more than up to the task, even with the UMP. So great round there from him, like you said. But that's going to be an op now coming in for Rubish. He's peeking mid, but he's not going to be able to find anything. And a fast play up short here from UL Wolves, actually, and Metal going straight into window. Couldn't catch Drag off or Rubish, sorry, that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to pick up an op for his troubles. Evan nearly finding the kill. Back onto him, but he's going to miss a Drag. Swinging out from Connector, finds the first one on the Bardo, but Zombinator's there to take him out with the Deagle, and Turtle, lurking around in that market position, is going to find Metal, who was trying to flank through market, trying a bit of a beast blade, I think, but it's just Mac and Zombinator left now. 2 Deagles, not able to recover any of the fallen weapons from the UCD side, and Turtle actually managing to recover the op there from Metal after he had picked it up. And good spread now from the UCD side. They have 1 player on B, 1 player on A, and 1 player sort of looking towards that middle position, but UL Wolves bomb is over in B app, so if they're fast enough they could actually get out here onto site and get a plant before UCD have any time to react, especially with Incipiens being on 16 HP. He's playing very deep on short, so it'll be interesting to see what they bring out here. Zombinator though slowly making his way out. Sees the barrel of Turtle. He's not going to take the shot though. Good trigger discipline there, and eventually finds the headshot onto him. That was a good shot there, and that's the B-side open now. If Mac can get this bomb down, this round is all of a sudden an awful lot more doable for UL Wolves. Incipient's only 16 HP. He needs to be very, very careful, especially with Zombinator watching that angle. It's another headshot for him into this round. It's just Evan now, left in a 1 versus 2. Zombinator is low, so if Evan can find this kill onto Mac, he's given himself a very good chance in this retake. But Mac gonna take the headshot. Very, very clean, clean 2v3.
Roibish has left the game.
Oh, it looks like it's a technical issue. A little bit of a funny disconnect there, but wow, that was incredible stuff there from UL. Really showing the caliber of their aim, and certainly, you know, maybe giving UCD a little bit more of a reason to be more conservative in these rounds, because those were some very, very nice shots there from Zombinator. Some 2 crisp headshots with that deagle, and Mac obviously polishing off the round with that AUG. Very, very good stuff there from them to win that 2 versus 3 on an eco as well. That's going to leave UCD a little bit shaken, I think.
Yeah, definitely, and I think Zombinator did get a little bit lucky that he saw the barrel of that gun just as he was peeking out. Good tactical play to go for the shoulder peek beforehand. He knew it could have been holding it with the AWP, but it was a great shot, and even a better second shot onto short. He needed to find that kill to keep his teammate alive, and he did. But I think UCD are going to be a little bit upset that that round went the way of UL, but again, it's one of those rounds that you can just never see coming. You know, great play from UL, and they managed to make the 2 deagles work and salvage. I think they brought just the AUG from that round forward as well. Yeah, Mac has the AUG, so that was a very good economic round for them as well to get themselves on the board. Now 3-1 the scoreline, so it's all to play for still, and this round could go either way now. Not a full buy on UCD. Evan just on the deagle. He's got 1 flashbang to his name as well. So looking across the scoreline, looking across the map as well. Bit of a default spread from the T side. They're expecting a bit of CT aggression. Maybe they're not 100% sure what the CTs are up to this round, but they know where Rubish was. And that's going to be a kill going over now to the T side. UL have the man advantage. But Evan is playing very close up with this deagle. He's obviously opting for the closer engagements, and UL are just going to take this one a little bit slowly. Don't want to give anything away for free. That's the key point here now. They've got all their utility to use, so bit of a cheeky flashbang out mid, but it's not going to go their way. And Frost finds another great shot. Drags is going to fall, so that's 2 on the board for him. And finally, Evan's going to manage to find a kill with the deagle. Barto goes down. A 3rd kill from Frost now. And Evan, with that gun he retrieved, he's going to find 2 frags that he had no business finding. Mac is going to trade him out, so now we're down to a 2-on-1. Mr. Turtle, he is coming from CT, so he is, after guessing correctly, he's going all the way over to A, but if he doesn't find this kill before the bomb goes down, it's not looking great, and Mac is still in the smoke. They're just going to back up and play this safe. They don't know where Mr. Turtle is, but they're going to find out soon enough, and both players now down towards T-ramp. It's going to be a very hard situation for Mr. Turtle to retake this. He hasn't even got the kit, so I'm not sure if he's fancying his chances or not, but he's going to push towards Palace. Just trying to find as much info as he can before he decides to make a move, and given the timer now, I don't think he has enough time. He's just going to try save his FAMAS, but if he's not careful now, he might actually run into both these UL players here. He could even go for the exit frags if he times it right, but both sides not wanting to give up anything more than they have to. And are they going to run into each other? Oh, he finds the kill onto Mac, and that's going to be the AWP dropped. Unfortunate there, but great play from Mr. Turtle as well.
That's very, very smart there from Turtle. He heard those steps towards ramp, I think, when Wolf had started running away, and he bide his time and was rewarded for it. So that's the AWP taken away from UL. That's going to be big into this round. Frost is able to rebuy, but that's still significant economic damage done. But UCD have a little bit of economic damage done themselves, but that's not going to stop Evan and Roibish from finding a kill, actually. We're down into 3-on-5 straight away, and Turtle, meanwhile, finds another one towards ramp, and actually that's this round suddenly falling apart from UL. Zombinator and Bardo left in a 2-on-5, and UCD are able to retrieve all of those weapons as well, all except for one, actually. Rubish with the AWP, and Incipient's picking up the AWP, but both players towards this A site now, and UCD not really sure what's going on. Incipient's still looking up towards mid, but eventually he's going to cop on and rotate around towards Connector to find the kill onto Zombinator. Just Barter left now in a 1-on-4. Does have the bomb on his back, but is only on 15 HP, and Incipients is going to find a nice headshot there to close out their end for UCD. And in a round, really, like you said before, they had no business winning. Very, very good stuff there. Just that initial kill up towards mid with the CZ was a little bit crazy, and Rubish finding the USP kill towards ramp. So UL perhaps sensed the eco and got a little bit overconfident and took too many close engagements. I think that went the way of UCD in the end. So that's 4-2 now, and looks like UL are going to be taking a technical pause. One of their players is disconnected. I think it's Mac. Yeah, Mac is disconnected. So possibly some internet or hardware issues. Not sure, but that's going to give us Cardinal a little bit of time to sit back and discuss what we've seen so far from both teams. Obviously UCD have the round advantage, but UL, especially that 2v3 that we saw earlier on, are really showing that, you know, they're not going to let themselves be just completely shut out of this game. They are playing well. There's a little bit of teamwork coming in. You know, they're doing well so far.
Yeah, and I think that last round now, there's a lot to talk about in that last round, because it's a little bit ironic that the one round UL didn't decide to play it safe and take it slow early on. They got caught out by that rush up mid with just a couple of CZs and a few USPs, you know. I don't think Frost was actually expecting the push, so he could have been caught while scoped in, and if you whiff that first AWP shot when you're that close up, it's just game over from then on out, and the round really slipped away quite quickly. But just looking at the economy between both teams, I know UL are going to have to eco this one up unless they decide to go for an interesting force buy, but even on the UCD side, having that many round advantage this early on, they don't have a great economy because they have been losing a lot of players in the rounds that they do manage to win. They haven't been getting them super clean, so at least UL have been keeping their economy at bay. But I can see this round now going the way of UCD as well, so that's going to be one to look out for.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right there about UL doing a good job of keeping the UCD economy low. If we just open up the scoreboard there, you see they only had 3 rounds in a row, and then UL were able to take 2 away from them. So, you know, UCD, their economy isn't exactly what you'd call great. You know, if they lose this round like they lost that previous eco round, then they're going to be possibly put back onto an eco, maybe a little bit of a half buy or something from a few players. And that could definitely be another round of UL woes, and then suddenly we're all square and 4-on-4. But while we've been talking there, Mac has reconnected, so looks like we're going to be moving into the 7th round. Just a few pistols for UL, P250 on Frost, and a Tech 9 for Metal, and just a knife for Zombinator, interestingly. Not sure what's going on there, maybe a bit of a UI bug that I'm seeing, especially considering he has a CT knife. But Incipients, if he's not careful here, could get caught out. All 5 he's going to get out just in time, but all 5 UL Wolves players there, and they're going to rush through that molly, and not going to go well for them. Incipients finds another one and manages to get away with his life as well. That shouldn't have been allowed to happen, but Turtle there, 2 very fast kills there. Great flick to find the headshot onto Zombinator, and it's just Mac now picks up the Tech 9 from the teammate's dead body, but Drags is going to clean up that last kill. And well, great 2 kills there from Incipients, and Turtle. That was a crisp, clean lock, I think, coming out there onto the head of Zombinator, but he'll take kills like that all day long. So we're 5-2 for UCD now, and UL are going to be back on the bye. Only a UMP for Zombinator, but you know, they've been doing pretty well so far, Cardinal, on these bye rounds. Decent economic damage done.
Yeah, and even though Zombinator has opted for just the UMP, he has got most of the utility on his team now. Frost as well with the AWP, but it's going to be a very quick kill going over to well, and now it's all evened up, but Incipients managed to trade out Barto, so we're down to a 3-on-4. It's only a couple of seconds into the round, and both teams now are going to hit the brakes and just slow down a little bit. But there's a beautiful shot from Rubish. My god, that was a very free kill for him onto Metal. And one of the things that I think is worth talking about is the prevalence of the AUG and the SG now that these weapon price changes have come in. We see a lot of even the pro teams opting for the AUG and the SG on their respective sides, and I'm not sure how I quite feel about it myself. I tend to not be able to use those guns at all, but obviously Incipients is putting it to great use over on the B side, watching down apartments, so it's going to be an interesting one to look at. And he's going to push up all the way through. If he goes any further now, he's going to run into more than he was expecting, I think, and yeah, there's the kill going over to Rubish. Unfortunately,
I think
going
UL
up to
actually.
Zombinator.
Rubish got really unfortunate there, I think, because he unscoped, and that's not just a client side sound, that's a server side sound. So he was just about to round the corner when he unscoped, and UL heard that. I think that if he hadn't unscoped there, he could have got those 2 kills.
You hate to see it, but there's another kill from Zombinator now. You don't hate to see that, and Incipiens is going to swing out. Can't find the first kill, and he's waiting for Mr. Turtle to come along. Beautiful no scope. The bomb has already gone down, but that's not going to stop him finding the second frag. And lovely retake there. Incipiens was waiting for his teammate to come along, but he didn't even need him in the end. He was just going to take the round into his own hands. And 6-2 now to UCD.
Incipiens just losing patience there, says I've had enough, and just careers out a window and into the 2 UL players. I didn't even know what hit them, but a great 2 frags there from him to clean up the round. And we're starting to see UCD, I think, run away with it a little bit now. They had another 3 rounds in a row, so if the previous rounds are anything to go by, UL should win this one, but it's not looking pretty likely considering they're only on the pistols and a scout for Bardo. All 5 players towards this B side of the map. They're trying to do this B rush again. It didn't work out too well for them last time, but that's a huge utility damage done there by one of the UCD players. Rube's going to find the first kill and a second headshot onto Frost, and Turtle finding 2 from short, and the third onto Bardo, and a great B hold there from UCD. Not a single player going down. That utility damage again, we've seen it in previous games from UCD. Throwing nades into that app's position, huge damage being done, and it's prevalent there once again. I think it was Turtle throwing the nade there, yeah, so even the same player as it was previously, huge damage done. So good communication there from Rubish to Mr. Turtle to get that nade into apps as soon as he could, and really paid off for them.
A little bit of a leap of faith, I think, from UL. When they saw the Molotov come in, they had to smoke it out, and at that point then, you can only imagine they knew what was about to come, and it was a great, actually, frag grenade thrown by one of the UCD players. That inflicted a huge amount of damage as well, but Frost finds an early frag on this, and Zombinator finds a second now. Before we know it, the A bomb site has almost gone over the way of UL. They're just trying to find one more frag, but a beautiful shot from Drags from stairs. He's going to hold on to it as best he can. Now Mac is getting the bomb down. Spray's coming through the smoke, and Incipiens finds a very interesting kill there through the smoke. He's going to find the first, but almost gets taken down. He finds the second now, and Barto's got it all to do. In dark, and here comes the utility from UCD. There's the first kill. Barto's gonna go down, and another beautiful shot from Drags. He really favors himself on that AWP. He's playing with a lot of confidence, not afraid to take those engagements, and it was a great start to the round for UL. They managed to get out onto the A site and found some very decisive kills, but UCD not shy to take on the retake.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I think UL, I'm not sure if that was UCD being great so much as UL kind of messing up a little bit, because they had that round, they had the 5-on-3, the bomb was down, UCD were completely locked out, but for some reason we saw 2 players standing right behind that jungle smoke, and Incipiens was able to deal a huge amount of damage onto one player and find the kill on the second. So, you know, UL had, you know, they had everything going for them. They just needed to sit back and play the round out and let the timer on the bomb run down before UCD could do anything, and they had the round, but got a little bit overly aggressive, a little bit overconfident, and UCD were able to take those free kills. Immediately in this round, UCD now, they're starting to have a little bit of fun with it. I think they're starting to get quite aggressive in these ramp positions and palace positions. We just saw Rubish pushing up there mid as well, finding the kill. And finds the second one on the Mac before Frost is able to trade him out. We're down into a 4-on-2. Frost doing great work with the op so far in this match, but unfortunately for him, it's just not enough at the moment. I think UCD really locking UL out at the moment, and they're starting to get aggressive now, and we've seen it before. When you start to get aggressive, especially with the amount of aim players that they have in their team, they can really just kind of run away with these things. But Incipiens held that angle for a very long time, eventually gets rewarded with a kill onto Bardo, and now it's just Frost with the bomb on his back, sitting in T-apps, and he's kind of locked in from every angle at the moment. Turtle pushed up B-apps, and I think UCD know where he is, because they're slowly starting to close in his position. He's going to step out and find a nice flick there onto Drags. That was an insane flick. Didn't even have him in the scope, but Turtle's ready and waiting here in B-apps, and he's going to close out the round. And Frost, well, I mean, we haven't seen much from him in previous games, I think, but he's starting to show up in this game. 6 kills for him so far. Only one behind Zombinator, who's the top fragger for UL at the moment, but that was a nutty shot there on the player outside of apps to find the kill, but just not enough in the end, I'm afraid. So they're back onto the eco, and it looks like we're seeing Cardinal that B rush again. All 5 players here.
Yeah, they're really favouring this B rush, and it hasn't gone their way yet, but maybe they know something we don't know because they're gonna keep trying it, and they've taken a little bit slower. And Frost actually in mid manages to get a kill before he's traded out. And there's a outrageous shot from Metal onto Rubish. And before we know it now, the B side is pretty much gone the way of UL. Incipiens is going to rotate over, but is he going to expect the player in the corner? He is, and great shot from him now as well. We're down to a 3-on-3, so it could go either way, but Drags is not going to be looking the right way, and Zombinator nearly whiffs it, but he manages to convert the kill just in time, and Barto's going to fall, and he's traded out instantly, though. Great team play there from Mac to cover his teammate's angle, but Incipiens, yet another brilliant shot now. Zombinator, he's going to give away his position, and he needs to find this kill. If he's not careful, he's going to get taken down. But there's the round. Finally now a third round on the board for UL, and
that was
a
very,
very
very
sketchy
close
round towards the end. Yeah, just going to say, Ferrex.
That was very, very close indeed. The last UL player there, I can't remember who it was, of such a short attention span, missing those shots, and Incipiens nearly allowed him to get a second shot off with the AWP. But does manage to convert the kill in the end, and UL get their third round, and Incipiens dropping straight into underpass this turn. I'm not sure if he was spotted there by Frost, but he's actually going to run up mid. Could catch off a player here if he's not careful, or if UL aren't careful, but not going to be able to connect the shot, unfortunately, and Barto's going to punish him. Rubish is there with the trade onto Mac, but Metal meanwhile finding the entry onto Evan on A, and it's a little bit confused about where those shots were coming from. I think started spamming towards CT when Drags was on stairs, but got to take more contact. Drags pushing towards triple, a little bit overconfident perhaps, gets punished, and Metal 2 or 3 great headshots there to completely open up this A side. That last shot onto short was very, very good indeed. Rubish coming through the smoke here is going to get found by Metal as well. 4K from him there, giving UL their fourth round. 4K for the fourth round, but yeah, Metal, I think, just had enough. He wanted to take this A site, and take that A site he did. And UL get their fourth round. So if they get these last 2 rounds, Cardinal, this won't be such a bad half at all.
No, and that's the kind of execute you want to see from UL. That's what they almost pulled off a few rounds ago, but for some reason managed to make a very aggressive push through that smoke, and it didn't go their way in the end. But we see that kind of team play and coordination, it is definitely anyone's game, and they can put a stop to UCD, but doesn't look like it's going to go that way this round now. It's already down to a 3-on-5 in the favor of UCD. Now, peeking out mid, Rubish yet again. Favoring that AWG now, or AUG I should say now. That's 2 players, but Incipiens is going to fall, and Frost, another beautiful shot with the AWP. He's really feeling it this game, and one of the things I didn't mention yet, but it seems like UL, their player Metal on their side now, he was the kind of star player in the last couple of games we've seen from UL, and we haven't seen much of him this game. So, you know, if he can turn it on, maybe he is the deciding factor to kind of bring themselves level with this team play and coordination from UCD. But it's yet to be seen yet. We saw a little bit of it in that last round, beautiful shot onto short, but he's going to be key, I think, in this game if they want to take it all the way. Now Frost is pushing up connector, and they're not after making any noise yet, but UCD must smell a rat at some point. They got to know where they're coming from, and Rubish is already holding the angle. Smoke is going to cut off his line of sight now. He's got to be careful from both sides. Here comes the push now. Evan manages to find 2 very quick kills. Mac was already low health. Now Rubish, they have a rough idea of where Frost is, but they're not 100% sure, and if this smoke starts to fade, Frost is going to be in a lot of trouble. Gotta isolate these 1v1s, and he's not gonna get the first kill. Now the shot comes off, and there's the nade to finish out the round. That's gonna be 10-4 going over to UCD, and we're into the last round of the half. Eric's, what can UL do? They can't seem to string a couple of rounds together.
No, it's just nothing's really going UL's way at the moment. If we take a quick look at the scoreboard, Incipiens on 21 frags. He's having the game of his life at the moment. Drags close, well, not I say close behind him, but in second place with 12 frags, and I mean the top fragger for UL is Zombinator. He only has 9, so quite a bit behind, but looks like they're gonna go for an A play here. Evan's gonna hear those footsteps in Palace. He's gonna jump up, and if he takes that contact, that could have been an easy kill for him, but UL fall back just in time, and UCD gonna re-smoke ramp to hold off this take that little bit longer. No map control. Actually, sorry, UCD have pushed all the way up mid and all the way through apps, so they know exactly where these UL players are, and that's going to make UL's life so much harder. And you see Rubish already on the flank. he needs to be very, very careful here, because if he goes down, that's the B side of the map open, takes that contact, he should fall off now. He just needs to hold the angle, but straight away that's 2 UL players heading back towards his direction, and they know that they've been found out, I think, and they need to start trying to take back some map control maybe before they do anything else, because there's 4 players for UCD holding onto this A side at the moment. They're making the right call, I think, starting to make their way back bomb as well, heading back towards B, and maybe trying to fake UCD out with a few smokes here. 3 players towards there, but Rubish has fallen the whole way back onto this B side. He's just playing this as safe as he can. UCD not trying to give up anything here.
Only 35 seconds left on the clock. They've got to make some kind of move, and Evan is in a great spot. They weren't expecting him there. Shots from Ticket Booth now as well. Metal's just caught in the meat grinder. Now Turtle is going to hold onto the bomb site from this connector position. And he's going to spot the T player going across. Mac is going to get the bomb down though, so that could be key. And he does manage to get it down just before he falls himself now. Incipients has rotated all the way around. They're starting to close that vice on the A-bomb side. There's another kill for UCD, and the second one. Barto is going to fall. And we are going to see 11 for the scoreline going into the second half of the map. So we have a couple of moments now, Ferrex, just to kind of talk us through that half and how each team performs. So we do see on the UL side 9 frags apiece on Zombinator and Frost. They seem to be the ones doing as much as they can, keep their team in the game, but over on the UCD side, it is just kind of pure dominance, I think, is probably the easiest way to say it.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
What are we going to see when these teams swap sides? What's the prediction?
I think we're going to see probably for a T pistol strat, we're probably going to see a B rush coming out of UCD, because they have favoured that in previous matches. But yeah, you're absolutely right, it is kind of pure domination here, and UL really have it all to do. 11-4 is a scoreline at the half, so they almost can't afford to drop any rounds, really. They can't let UCD get up any head of steam whatsoever. They need this pistol if they want to have a chance of winning this game, because, you know, if they drop pistol, that's most likely a second round going the way of UCD on the eco, and then we're into 13-4, and that's an even bigger mountain to climb, you know. So I'm going to see what's happening here. It looks like Incipient's bringing out the pit boss, buys an armor, and one of his teammates drops him at P250. And it's actually the same for Evans, so those 2 players are going to be really formidable in this round with the P250 and armor. But it looks like we're going to see a B play coming out, as I predicted. Not so much a rush, perhaps a little bit more of a contact play, or actually even a little bit of an execute. Those 2 smokes for Turtle and Drags, that smoke is going to go towards the door position. I'm not sure where Turtles is going to go, but Bardo and Metal are going to be here on this side to try and hold it off, and first kill is going to go the way of UCD, and the second one as well. Incipients find the headshot onto Bardo, and that's the B site, and those smokes have completely locked out the rotate from UL. That's an insane execute there, actually. No chance at all for UL to retake this bomb site, and with the bomb down, it's slowly ticking away. UL do have the kit though, so not completely done yet, but all 3 players playing in this kitchen area, and Mac gonna walk into Incipient's crosshair. He takes the free kill there, no trade whatsoever. And Evan stepping out, gonna find the crisp headshot onto Zombie. It's just Frost finds one of his own onto Incipients, but it is a 1-on-4. Might just try and save the armor. Is on half HP, and all 4 players from UCD closing the vice, like you said in that previous round, and Drags is gonna find the final kill.
Just got swarmed.
Yeah, before he didn't have much of a chance there. It was a nice shot there onto Incipients, but unfortunately for him, there was just too many UCD heads to find. I think, and the bomb timer was too low. So this round is going to go in favor of UCD. So UL opting to take Inuka. We have seen with this new meta some teams opting to buy into this second round. You know, throw over an M4 to a player with armor and see what they can do with that. But nothing this time from UL. But Evan,
UCD are going to go all in though on the buy.
Yeah, UCD are an AK for Incipients, Galeo for Drags and Evan, and SMGs for Turtle and Rubish. But they have a good spread at the moment. They actually have completely covered the A side, because it's a B stack here from UL. Rubish going to find a nice headshot, and a second one onto Bardo as well. And Kitchen, he had no right doing that with an SMG. He's going to run out of ammo and switch over to the pistol, and Mac is going to be the next man on the chopping block, and he's going to go down as well. Great 3k there from Rubish, and UCD meanwhile have realised, I think, that it is a beast axe. Obama is going to go down an A, Turtle planting that, and Rubish doing great work there, staying alive and finding 4 kills. Drags coming in from short, I think, found 1 more kill for himself as well, but that's a great round there from UCD. Rubish, some insane shots there, especially that second kill onto the player in kitchen. That MP5 really being put to work, and that's the 13th round on the board for UCD, but now Cardinal UL are going to be on the bye, so we'll see what they can bring into this round.
They are on the bye, but if we look over at their utility, they haven't got a ton to work with. They do have some smokes, so they are going to be able to stop these pushes, but if UCD have predicted what kind of economy they have coming into this round and they wait out those smokes, UL have got very, very little to work with going into the later stages of the round, and it looks like that's what they might be doing here. They have kind of slapped the brakes on, and they've got a lot of control over towards this apartment area, but here come the flashes, and they are just going to take this contact play, I believe. Rubish has gone all the way out, and Barto didn't think he could get out that quickly, and we're down to a 3-on-3 already. Now, Frost is going to find his own kill. We're still in the 3-on-3. And the round has slowed down a bit now. We see the UL players coming up from short, 2 towards kitchen. Salmonator's going to take a little bit of damage from that frag grenade. Frost swings out, finds a very key frag there, and a second now. It's all down to Drags. Mac has got to push out. He's got to go with his teammate. Drags knows where the bomb is planted, and here comes the kill. Yeah, Mac is able to find it. So that's going to be Drags going down, and UL have managed to put a 5th round on the board. It's still looking quite grim. You know, UCD they've got 11 rounds now to put the game away. They've only got to find 3 out of 11 rounds, so it is looking quite grim for UL, but if we can see more team play and more coordination like that from UL, you know, they might be able to bring it back and get some rounds on the board, get a little bit of momentum going, but so far it's yet to be seen. And looking over at the UCD side, oh, a little bit of interesting team damage. I think we might have a little bit of a tech issue. Or not. Seems to be flying again. I think it was just a misclick from Incipiens, but
I think they're just memeing.
Yeah, I think Evan is just happy to play the round with only 39 HP. He's feeling that confident. But we'll see how it plays out. Frost has managed now to get the AWP into his hands, so he's going to be happy about that. And here comes the execute onto the A-bomb site now. The utility coming out. Zombinator needs to find a kill there, and he can't. He's going to fall. Man advantage now over to the UCD side, and we're down to only 2 players left for UL. Barto and Frost have got it all to do. That's the bomb down now yet again. Frost is going to fall. And that is going to be all she wrote. 14-5 now.
Metal there.
To UCD.
Metal had no idea what hit him there. Incipients charging through that smoke on stairs. UL, no info given whatsoever. Metal is going to be absolutely raging, but Incipients so aggressive in that round, pushing all the way through connector as well to find that second frag. And it's just little to no respect being played by UCD right now. I think we saw that, you know, that famous A execute that we spoke about, and actually a little bit of team damage in return coming out there from UL, evening things up a little bit, I think, from the previous round. But yeah, UCD are fairly confident right now. That famous A execute that we spoke about before this game being thrown there, a little bit of variation. We saw a smoke on the center of site to allow the bomb to go down safely, I think, but looks like we're seeing Mac finding a great first kill there, headshot onto Incipients, with Evans there with the fast trade, and it's just Bardo tapping away with the USP. Not going to find anything. Eventually does get the kill onto Evan, and UCD are actually getting flanked by Metal. He could get a kill here, finds one for himself, and takes Rubish out of the air, but Drags there to trade him in. We're down into 2-on-3 now, and UL are going to be able to pick up some weapons here. UCD were trying to retreat back towards A, I think, but they're slowing things down there a little bit. They're not so sure what's going on anymore. UL are going to try and fan back out, I think. Zombinator making his way up short towards top mid, but both players from UCD are actually still in this B apartments area of the map. They're just going to wait things out a little bit, wait for these CTs to spread out, because they're going to have to before they make any move. Zombinator only on 10 HP, but drags himself down to 41, so Turtle is going to have most of the work to do, I think. Looks like he's going to make his way back up these B apps, but still only 1 rifle being picked up for UL, despite 3 UCD players going down. Not aggressing into that apartments area of the map. Bardo holding a little bit of an off on here. He's going to step out and find a great double spray down there to close out the round for UL. Perfectly timed there. As soon as he heard that molly, he stepped out and just sprayed them both down. And, well, you know, we've seen UL how formidable they are on these eco rounds, how good they are with those deagles and those USPs, or those pistols in general. Sorry, and that's another eco round going their favor. So UCD maybe. I know they have 14 rounds on the board, so they probably don't care that much, but need to be a little bit careful of those eco rounds coming out from UL. They're going to have the money to rebuy into this one. 5 AKs for them, but not an awful lot of util. Rubish the only one with full util, but Metal's going to take the first kill onto Drags, but Turtle is there with the refrag, and Evan creeping out ramp now, and Incipient's all the way up connector. Evan catches Zombinator off, and Rubish is going to catch out Frost, peeking around that middle area of the map. Bardo does find one on Turtle meanwhile, so we're on to 3-on-2, but the HP situation for UL is not great at all. Mac on 16 and Bardo only on 36. So this could be the 15th round for UCD. UL might even try and save this one. I think that's exactly what they're going to do. Bardo hanging around for short on a little while longer, but maybe they're going to try and retake from short. Bardo. Rubish, not the correct plan there, I think. Gonna fall off, so manages to get away with his life. Pretty lucky there, but Bardo gonna find the first kill onto Evan, so this all of a sudden is a little bit more doable, but Incipients here has a great position to close off this retake. He's gonna find the first kill onto Bardo, and that's his position given away, but it's just Mac on 16 HP. Does have the AK in hand, but I think that's gonna be the 15th round for UCD. Mac is gonna try and hold on to the AK. Waiting for Incipients to come back round. And just no save whatsoever coming in from Max. He's going to try to do as much economic damage as he can, perhaps. And he's going to catch Rubish in the back as he's running away, so that's a good bit of economic damage. And Incipients here might go down to the bomb, actually, if he stays too close. Far enough away, only being taken down to 77 HP, but Mac played that pretty well, actually, finding the free kill there on the player running away. So, keeping the economy of UCD somewhat in check, but I mean the economy for UL Wolves is not that much better. Cardinal, I mean we just see a scout here from Frost and the AK being dropped over to Zombinator, and that's about it.
Yeah, and this is a very grim round when you're sitting at 15-6 and you've got to convert the next 10 rounds or the next 9 rounds in a row if you want to even just bring it to overtime, but that kill from Metal could be all to do, and here comes another one now. Incipient's going to go down. Barto finds 2. Metal is going to get a second kill in the round. It switches out to the Deagle, and I think UCD there decided that they had it in the bag. They were just going to rush out from apartments and use their aim to take the W, but UL are not going to be blown over that easily and managed to actually convert that round. So it is 15-7.
We see it again there from UL just winning out on these eco/force rounds. You know, if they could do half the things they do with pistols with rifles, then this game would be an awful lot closer than it is at the moment. But as it is, UCD a fast mid play coming out. All 5 players with deagles and gonna start making their way through connector. I think Mac taking the first contact, gets hacked down a little bit, but has the weaponry advantage, and Bardo's going to catch Incipients in the head, and Zombinator taking that Evan in the meantime, and Bardo gets a second for himself into this round, and that's the bomb down as well, so they know exactly where it is, and Rubish not able to find the headshot. It's just Drags left, playing in under somehow managed to make his way into jungle actually, but Metal was ready for it. Finds a final kill onto him, and 15-8 now. UCD on the eco as well, so we could see 15-9 here, so things starting to get a little bit closer than they might have wanted at Cardinal.
Yeah, definitely, and you know, I was just gonna say how ironic it would be if UCD managed to win that round with 5 deagles to take the map, but it is gonna go the way of UL, so they are starting to even up the scoreline just a little bit, starting to maybe come back into this one, but like you said, if they could only do what they've done on these eco rounds when they've got a full buy, then the scoreline would be much more equal, but UCD are just going to rush out, and they got to be careful that they don't fall to these pistols, but UL are going to find a couple of kills early on now. It is a 3-on-3, and Incipients is going to find yet another kill, actually. He's going to take it all the way down to a 2-on-2, and now Drags with that AWPs after scavenging is down to Metal. It's all on him to keep his team in the game, and the first kill is going to come in. That's going to be key. Now, does he know where Drags is? The bomb hasn't gone down. So he's got to be careful. And with 1 minute left on the clock as well, could go either way. But Drags, is he going to expect him? He's walking out towards window room. Is he going to spot him in time? Is the timing going to go in his favor? And Metal gets caught with a flash in his hand. That's going to be it.
That is so
16-8.
unfortunate. That is so unfortunate for UL. And like you said, Cardinal, ironic that they lose to the Pistols in the end.
Yeah, I called it one round too early, actually. They managed to not do it with Deagles, just a couple of P250s and a few Glocks, I think. That is going to be the victory going over to UCD. So 16-8, the final scoreline. And UL tried their best to keep themselves in the game, but I think the combo of Incipiens and Drags are just going to be too much, and they are going to take the victory 16-8 in the end. So that is going to be UCD taking the victory on Mirage. Yet another week, yet another best of one. So what are we looking at in the overall grand scheme of things, Ferex? How is the standings looking?
Oh, you think I know, Cardinal? Way to throw me under the bus here.
Let's have a look. We'll have a look.
From what I understand here, I think that means that UCD topped their group, depending on how this Trinity versus NCI game goes. But as it stands, if Trinity lose their game, that's UCD top of the group. But I just want to reflect there on the game a little bit. Probably not as close as we wanted it to be. 16-8, not the closest scoreline you've ever seen. Double the rounds for UCD. Incipiens close to the 30 bomb, 28 frags for him, and Drags close behind on 24. But the top fragger for UL was Bardo on 16, and we'd pinpointed Mac and Metal and Zombinator as probably the best three players on UL, but they were unusually quiet in this game. So maybe that's something they need to look at. That could have been the reason they lost this game. But UCD, ultimately too strong. But yeah, we'll take a look at the standings there, Cardinal, if you've got them up.
Yeah, I'm just bringing them up now. But just one of the things that you spoke about there with regards to, it was unfortunate, right, that Metal couldn't seem to find his footing in the game. He couldn't seem to find kind of get into a rhythm, and he is normally one, a Zombinator in tandem. The two of those are kind of normally one to step up when they need to on the UL side, but it just looked like they were outclassed, and that's probably the best way to put it. They were pretty much outclassed in all aspects in that game. Even looking at the utility usage from UCD, there's Drags coming in with 18 enemies flashed in only, I think, 23 rounds. So that's a huge amount of enemies flashed. So, we can see the coordination and the team play just on UCD is much outclassing the UL players. So it is going to go over to them. But looking at the standings now, UCD sitting at 3 wins. And Trinity are top of the group at the moment. So that is going to be 4-1 to UCD in their group. If Trinity win their game, they will top the group as they've gone 5-0. But if Trinity lose, then they'll be even with UCD, so it'll be 4-1 apiece.
Interesting stuff there. So it's all to play for then in this Trinity versus the NCI game, which we should see later on in the week, depending on when the players are available. But yeah, nonetheless, a fairly entertaining game, I think, especially when we saw those eco wins coming in from UL on both the T and the CT side, and that 2v3 on their T side with those two Deagle headshots was really a great play there from UL. And while UCD were no strangers to big plays themselves, we saw Turtle with that huge nade damage coming in as well, and so on. So even if the scoreline wasn't that close, it was still a pretty entertaining game nonetheless, at least in my opinion.
Definitely, and I hope everyone watching at home as well, I hope you guys enjoyed the game. It was a kind of a chaotic one, not the most structured or the most strategic game of CS we've probably ever seen, but from a viewer's perspective, it was quite fun, quite entertaining, seeing some eco rounds coming in that go the way of either team, and not knowing what way things are going to go is always good for the viewer, not so much for the players. But I definitely enjoyed myself anyway, Ferrex, and I hope you did.
I certainly did. Yeah, like I said, that game more entertaining than previous ones we've watched. So I mean, look, we favored UCD coming into it, and they proved exactly why we favored them in that game. I think Um, so yeah, I think that's all I have to say on the matter.
Yeah, I think that's going to be all from us. Yeah, like you said, we did favor UCD coming into it, and they were kind of taking it easy, I suppose, towards the end. So they could have probably closed it out in 1 or 2 rounds sooner. But nevertheless, it is going to be 16-8 going over to the way of UCD. Just before we finish up, I would, of course, like to thank our sponsor, Marvin.ie. And that has been another week of, I know it's only the start of the week, but that's been another game of the Irish Collegiate Esports Winter. So keep an eye out. We might have, if we can schedule it, we might have some other games this week to finish out the group stage before we get into the playoff. But that has been all from us, everyone. So thank you very much for watching. Ferrix, thank you for joining me.
No, Cardinal. Thank you for joining me.
Very wholesome.
Always a pleasure. But yeah, like we say, guys, that's going to be all from us for tonight. So thank you very much for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the game. And if there's any other games later on in the week, we will be sure to do our best to cast them for you. So keep an eye out, and we'll see you in the next one.
Good night.